We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Good morning. Happy Friday. My name is Lakeisha Hines, and I have some of the most powerful brothers with me today. Y'all not ready. You're not even ready, okay, for who I have with me today. You've seen them. You know them. My brother Roland, my brother Jeff. And so listen, just get ready. Just get ready to have some nuggets dropped on you. Get ready to be knocked off your feet. No pressure, fellas, because I know you can handle it. I know you can. It is Friday. It is Ask the Experts, and we are here to answer all of your questions. So, in true Couples Academy family fashion, I'm going to have a real conversation with you. Do not wait until the midnight hour and drop these questions in here. We need you to go ahead, drop your questions. Why? Because you wait when it's 30 seconds left to drop a paragraph, and then you want us to be able to answer. We can't, people. Drop your questions in early so we can go ahead and answer them. I just want to shout out who's here. Faithful, my brother Ben. Good morning, brother Ben. You are here. Vashawn, how are you? Renita, Kenny, everybody else, drop where you are streaming from. Let us know so we can shout you out. But most importantly, please drop your questions. So guess what's coming up? Jeff, you want to talk about what's coming up in January? Maybe I think it's some event I heard about that maybe
December. We won't get you, Lakeisha.
I'm skipping December. Okay, well, talk about December then.
All right, we got Last Chance Weekend coming up, and a lot of you out there are going through struggles in your marriage. You're wondering if it's even going to last. Some of you have already resigned and said, "I'm done." Some of you have already filed divorce papers, separation papers, moved out. I don't care what your situation is. At the end of the day, Last Chance Weekend is giving it one last chance to work. And I'm telling you, the transformation that we've seen is phenomenal. When I became a part of the program, I had my doubts. But actually going there and actually walking through the processes, being a part of the processes, helping people through the processes, I've seen transformations that are lasting a lifetime. That will last a lifetime, because when you actually, one of my students in Foundry said something very powerful. He's a student. He's learning to be a pilot. And he said, a lot of times he has to learn how to fly blind because the visibility is not always going to be there. It's going to be night. It's going to be cloudy. There's going to be storms. He has to learn to trust the instruments and his training to get him through that storm. And at the end of the day, we all need to have a system in place that we can trust. Now, a lot of us have been using faulty guidance systems. We got friends in our ear. We have people around us that don't have our best interests in mind. And even more importantly, we have people who don't have successful relationships that are giving us advice. We have counselors that we're going to that aren't married. They don't know. That aren't parents. They don't know your struggle. We have, people who are divorced, who got a license on their wall, who are trying to tell you how to stay married. That's a faulty guidance system.
Facts.
Success leaves clues, and the people that you're going to go to and work with and see at Couples Academy at Last Chance Weekend, hopefully I'll be there, and most of us go when we can. When you're there, I can vouch for every single one of them and say that all those people, when I see them together as a couple, I'm not going to say it's all sun and roses every single day, but those people have a marriage that most people in this country would covet. And so I want to see you there. Last Chance Weekend, second weekend of December, be there.
All right, so Roland, Jeff, thank you, my brother, for getting me together. He's like, Keisha, you're skipping over December trying to get to January. This is the reason, people. My birthday's in January, right? So it's important to me. Maybe that's what it was. I was being selfish. I apologize. Roland, what's going on in January, man?
Hey, listen, January for all of the men under the sound of my voice. We only have literally one spot left. Technically, we have one spot left. We're willing to go over to meet you where you are, but the Foundry experience is coming to Georgia. You want to be there. You want to be there, be about it. Don't hear about it. You want to be in the building. We're putting some things together that is going to be an amazing experience. This is not a retreat. This is an experience for all of the brothers that want to be real men, to come up as men, right? To be better versions of men for ourselves, for our wives, for our families. Get in, call us, put your name on the books. Let's get it.
All right. Well, hey, you heard it. You heard it. You heard it. Now it's time to act, right? It is time to act. So let's go ahead and jump into our first question today from my brother Ben. Good morning from Nashville. Getting in early while house cleaning. Already TKO back day 2 at the gym. As an unfaithful, I feel I'm hitting acceptance in my grieving the affair partner journey that doesn't get much liked on this show. My life has always been active. Now things are quiet and boring. As an adrenaline junkie, 8 wing 7, how do I adjust and enjoy the boring regular life? I mean, I stay as active as I can. 8 hours gym, 50 hours work, fishing. I'm active and my spouse is a 5. How do I feel that need? Is there a difference between complementary differences and being unequally yoked? Sorry for the jumble. Thank you for recognizing. That was a lot, Ben. So really what you're asking 2 questions. One, you're asking about grieving the loss of the affair partner. And then the second thing that you're talking about is how the two of you and your wife, how you guys are interconnecting or how you're operating with each other, you being an 8 and she being a 5. So I will address the first part of that, which is about you grieving the loss of your affair partner. And it's all about closure. You never got closure. That's the reality. And when I say closure, what I'm talking about is you didn't close the door. The door was left open for you, for her, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because it was never closed. And so as long as that door is open, as long as you don't end the affair with the proper messaging, you're going to continue to have those thoughts and those feelings. And you have to do that. And that is a process that we take you to, because there is a very strategic way that you have to do it to make sure that you don't end up back into an affair with the partner. But I definitely want to swing over to you, Jeff, to weigh in and help out my brother Ben.
All right, so this part is absolutely it's simple. I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but it's simple. It's exactly close the door, burn the bridges, and make a decision that you're never turning back. Now you have to create that separation, because when you're sitting there thinking about it, dwelling on it, all these other kinds. Now the next step to this is actually building. See, I know you're active, brother. I can tell. You're always talking about your fitness and this and that, and you go fishing. I get that. You're a adrenaline junkie, so am I. Are your goals big enough? Are your goals big enough to where they scare the living daylights out of you to be even able to achieve it? Because when you have a goal that big, you don't have time to be focusing on these other trivial things. And I say they're trivial, not to put you down and say, but like, this is once you've actually made the decision to live a life of morality and not sin, you have to realize how trivial those things are. They're trivial and they're inconsequential in life. Your biggest problem is you don't have a challenge big enough that scares you, Mr. Adrenaline Junkie. I got a challenge for you in the spiritual quadrant. Figure out exactly who you are, make a stand and create that and challenge yourself to become that. Draw a version of yourself 10 years from now that scares you. Figure out who you're going to be emotionally. Learn how to show up and learn the game of setting the emotional game within yourself so that you can control your emotions and control the emotions of the people around you, not in a manipulative way, but in a way where you're setting an environment for their growth and their change. Become a leader. Stop being an army of one. Everything's about me, 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 me. It's time to start saying, how do I make everything grow around me? Everyone grow around me. You cannot exist in my presence and not grow. That is something I have decided for myself. The people around me must grow at all times, and I'm going to create a loving, caring environment for that to happen naturally, not forced.
Yeah. All right, brother.
Your physical challenges. Okay. Push yourself to the next level. And then your financial challenges, add a 0. If you can't stay busy with that and get your mind off all this other mess with those 4 challenges, then we got something to talk about. But until you push yourself to your limits and find your limits in each quadrant, spiritual, emotional, physical, and financial, you're going to remain stuck. Period.
All right, come on, Roland. You look like you're trying to get in there.
Yeah, Jeff. I mean, he just took over and he hit it on the head. But the fact of the matter is, stop holding yourself hostage. Stop holding your wife hostage to the possibility of a new life. You keep talking about the affair partner. We have to move away from what used to be with someone else. And that same energy we can put in our own marriages, our own relationships to have a better life, right? You make it be what you want it to be. Men set the temperature and the tone for the marriage. So if she's boring, so you say, allegedly, right? Take her on, allow her to do something that she hasn't done before. You become explorers of what you want to see, of what you want to be. And then that way she's not boring. That way you guys are experimenting things together, and the affair partner, again, has to be dropped off. You cannot think about her anymore, and you just got to make a decision. Bottom line.
Okay, so I just want to address, because he did respond. That's my issue. I have grown financially 6-figure, retire early. Guess what? You're not retiring early at 6 figures. Add a 0. Period. Great. Your body fat. Now do something you've never done before. Have you climbed a mountain? Have you ever done the whole Appalachian Trail? Have you done something extreme like jump out of an airplane, walk with tigers, run with lions? I don't care. Swim with bull sharks. These are all on my list. Come play Adrenaline Junkie with me. You're going to find out what Adrenaline Junkie really is.
Listen, I already told you, Ben, we've already been talking. I'm trying. My challenge for you is to meet me in Atlanta. Meet me in Georgia in December. That's my challenge. That's the one that I want you to meet. I want you to meet me in Georgia in December. That's what I need you to do. So meet that challenge. All right. Renita says, will you guys ever have last chance weekend reunions? Boy.
Thank you for the idea. We're going to do this.
That is a great idea.
We got the ball coming up.
Well, hey, listen, you might get your wish, Renita. Francesca says, how can I help my partner grieve the loss of our marriage? I was the one who cheated, and our D-Day was 8 months ago. I come out as desperate and make things harder. We are working toward restoration. I guess I want to know, how can I support and stay calm?
Well, that's easy. You just have to make sure you put in focus what you want your marriage to look like. If you guys are coming into alignment and you have an understanding of what you want out of your marriage, put it in front of you and you go after that. When you are in alignment and you have a common goal, a common purpose, you can, it makes it that much easier, right, to work together. Is it going to always be easy days? No, but the hard days will be become more easier when you guys are on one accord going in the same direction.
You can't make somebody grieve. They got to choose to do that themselves. You cannot make your partner grieve. Like, they have to make up in their minds that they're ready to do the work of matter. You're never going to be ready, but that they're willing to do the work that's necessary to be able to move forward. You cannot make them do that. What you can do is be the change that you want to see. You can go through the work. You can start the process. You can do what you need to do to work on yourself. And then you pray that your partner will then align with what it is that you're doing, but you can't force them to do it. And how you can support them is by not trying to beat them over the head with, you need to let this go. You need to move on. You know what I mean? So the way you be supportive is by allowing them, one, to work through their process at their own pace, but that you focus on yourself and getting yourself healthy and getting yourself well. So you guys, you're watching Ask the Experts. We have way more information for you. we're going to take a quick break on this. While we're on this break, I need you drop your questions in here so we make sure that we address your questions before the midnight hour. All right. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
When 45 men from all walks of life come together in one place for one purpose, there is a collective harmony that produces an amplification of power that leaves an impact on the lives of men that cannot be erased. A fraternity of legendary men, all at the tipping point, on the precipice of greatness, meeting for one weekend to turn their worlds inside out. For the first time ever, the Foundry experience. Not an event, not a seminar or retreat, but an opportunity to come face to face with the man you were always destined to be. If you want a life that's better than the one that you are living, meet us January 2023 for the Foundry experience.
All right, you guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Listen, Dark Knight K is in here. You must have touched him today, Jeff. He said, "Good morning, Jeff."
He touched me. He touched me why I brought it up.
He said, "How ironic that I jumped in here and hear you talking about my comment from my Marco Polo this morning, dude. And also, I'm January 17th, so come on, Dark Knight. I knew there was a connection here. Capricorns in the house. I love it." Popette says, "I'd love some more tips, strategies to improve transparency and consistency when rebuilding trust, please." What say you, Mr. Witt?
I feel like I'm missing some of the comment here. So tips and strategies.
Yes. And how to build boundaries for social media use.
That's easy. Like no comments with other women, no friending other women, all that kind of stuff. Like you just don't do that. Like that's got to be done. I mean, there's like social connections where there's no contact. That's one thing. But if it's a problem, you got to eliminate it, right? There's friends that I have from college that all I care about is seeing what their children are doing or seeing what they're doing in life. There's never any communication between us about anything. But if there's a problem in the relationship, you can't have those. You have to cut that off completely and start over. And once the trust is established, then it's okay to have people that you connect with in non-sexual communicative ways and in very normal conversations like, "Hey, congratulations on your new job promotion." That's benign and that's okay once you have actually established those boundaries. As far as tips for improving transparency and consistency when rebuilding trust, like there's a process, and we talk about this all the time, and I don't want to spend too much time on it again today. But like first you have to come up with a system of things that you want to be able to believe about each other to be true. Then you have to take an action plan to checking off those lists for each other. Then you actually have to take action on those things and be consistent. And then one day you're going to arrive at a place that goes beyond trust. What we're not looking for is trust. Trust has still got a little bit of an edge of the bridge that we're looking over. We can see the finish line. What you're looking for is certainty. And certainty is very boring. To be honest, certainty is I know when I turn the doorknob, it's going to turn. Certainty is I know that when I stand up, the floor is going to support me. Certainty is not exciting. The excitement has to come from new adventures in life. Trust is just the beginning of the last step before certainty. And so it takes consistency, doing the same things over and over and over again to completion, and living a life that is that way. Transparency is simple. It's like you have access to everything. I don't hide anything. I don't show anything. I've said it a million times. I charge my phone on my wife's side of the bed. That's transparency. She knows the passwords to everything. That's transparency.
That's it. There it is. Kenny says, separated for 5 years. How do you encourage your spouse to do counseling when we don't want to hear hard truths about ourselves? I ask because at times I don't like to hear the hard truths. Roland, you are the king of hard truths. What you got here from Mr. Kenny today?
Well, actually, Mr. Kenny answered his own question. He said he don't like to hear the hard truths about himself. So how can he encourage his spouse to do counseling with him? Well, you have to be willing to have the hard conversations, to have the hard truths. And once you identify and acknowledge the hard truths about yourselves, then you know what areas you need to change. We keep focusing on the other person. We keep focusing on our spouses, but your personal transformation, right, is going to be the key. When you have a transformational heart for yourself, everything around you is going to change. Your spouse is going to be more willing and more amped to want to follow you when you're doing the work, when she sees you doing the work, when he sees you doing the work. So we have to get away from trying to get our spouses to jump on board without having to be truthful to ourselves. Once you find that truth for yourself, once you have that hard conversation with yourself and for yourself, trust me, your spouse is going to be willing to follow.
Sorry.
Listening to that to stop and get gas.
Wow. Oh, sorry about that, fellas. People.
All right. So listen, perfect, Roland. Tiffany says, since my husband is unsure about what he wants in regards to the marriage, how do I focus on myself and grieve of possibly moving on? As I am in therapy, I see that I have to focus on myself. Again, you know what? You guys are answering your own questions today. That is exactly what you have to do. You have to focus on yourself. Just like Roland just said, we cannot force our spouses to do anything. If he's unsure about what he wants, you have no control over that. What you can control, though, is you. You can control how you show up and what it is that you do. So what I would ask you to do, take some time, literally spend some time praying, meditating, thinking about what it is that you want, because this is a very reactive position that you're taking. Okay, well, he doesn't know what he wants, so now I may have to possibly grieve moving on, because if he doesn't want me, then that means I got to go. What do you want? And what are you willing to do? So continue with your therapy, continue focusing on yourself, and literally pray for your husband.
I want to drop a concept here real quick. I want you guys to consider the fact that you need to become undeniable. You need to become undeniable. When you're focusing on you, it's very easy to say focus on yourself and work on yourself. But the whole idea is I want you to consider the concept that you can become undeniable. Undeniable in your self-certitude, and you know exactly who you are in this world and what your purpose and your mission is. When we have missions bigger than ourselves and people see us going for them, people tend to follow us. I want you to become undeniable in your emotional quadrant, where you now have 100% control over your emotions. It doesn't mean that you don't feel the anger, feel the pain, feel the pressure of certain situations coming on, but that is processed through a mental processing faculty of being able to say, you know what? How I respond is my responsibility. How I respond to these feelings and these emotions is my responsibility. And it's my ability to respond. That's what responsibility is. Your ability to respond. So you can process and have all this anger, cursing, upset, fear, worry, and doubt in your head. But by having a system that you know that you need to deliver it in a certain way out of your mouth in order for other people to receive it, that allows you to control both the communication in your mind and deliver the message that other people have. Become undeniable in your physical fitness and your health, whatever that looks like. For every person has a different goal, and become undeniable in your finances. If you work on those 4 quadrants, the whole idea of becoming undeniable makes it much easier. It makes a person wildly insane to not want to be with you. Because if you think about it, no one in this world is sitting on being an 8, 9, or 10 in all 4 quadrants. So if you work on perfecting yourself to being the highest level that you can be, the Army used to have a statement called "Be all you can be," and then they changed it, made this terrible statement called the Army of One. I want you to be all you can be in all 4 quadrants.
Man, Miss Jewel is in the house. Team Smith is in the house. And shout out to Gonzalez. It's his birthday today. Miss Jewel said the grass is only greener on the other side because you're not watering, treating, and putting time and energy in your own. Absolutely. Christina says, my husband and I have a great relationship, but I have noticed that our sex life has been less and less as the years go by. Is this a normal thing that older couples go through a decreased sex life? Christina, thank you for your question. I appreciate that. You know, you're speaking my language. Now, Miss Christina, there was an episode that I did on SOS, and it's talking about sex after 50. Go on to the YouTube channel, watch that video. Yes, it is normal. Yes, it's normal. Age has something to do with that, but even outside of age, we get caught up in the routine of our daily lives. And if we don't make sex a priority, it will begin to decline over time. That's with anything. If we don't make date nights a priority, if we don't make communication a priority, if we don't make, again, sex, talking about our future goals, dreams, aspirations, if we don't make it a priority, then it will begin to decrease and diminish over time. So we have to make it a priority.
And the big gorilla in the room is diet and fitness play a huge part in this. Because if you're not working out over 40, your testosterone levels as a man are going to go down. It's absolute fact. It's going to go down. And as we raise cortisol levels in our bodies and get high diabetes and high blood pressure and these other conditions that are self-created in most cases, okay, what ends up happening is your libido is going to go down. And not only is your libido, but your ability to perform even when your libido is active is going to go down. So we have to deal with those issues, especially as men and women, but especially as men, because if we don't stay active and if we don't work towards improving ourselves in that physical quadrant, how's the body supposed to work if we're not giving it the things it needs to work?
Mr. Roland, this one is for you. Stephanie says, I let my husband know that the only way I can possibly get past the affair is if we go to counseling. He thinks that we can do it on our own, but we haven't been able to. He also lost his mom before the affair, so I think it would be very beneficial for him. How do I get him to go? I've already done individual therapy, but I don't know if I can continue if we can't get some outside help.
It's very challenging when we think that we can do things that we know that we can't do on our own, and we sit in a state of uncertainty. We sit in a state of selfishness. We sit in a state of while you're grieving over your mother, you know, your marriage is grieving at the same time. And how do I handle all this? And you have to find a third party. You have to call Couples Academy so that you can get the assistance that you need in order to manage what you're going through. A lot of times we think that we can do things on our own because we just figure we have enough knowledge about it. We have, the capabilities. We watch some shows. We heard some quotes, and we think that we can self-medicate ourselves. But anytime you start trying to self-medicate yourself, you do more damage than you do good. You have to go to the experts. You have to be led by a strategic way to get the help that you need, and not continue to self-inflict yourself with these wounds that you can't get past. So call us, reach out so that we can help you, guide you through a system, through a process that will both benefit you and your husband.
And maybe start off watching, maybe if you can start sending him links to some of the shows via text, see if maybe that he will be willing to watch them either independently or with you. Maybe that's a way to open the door.
I also think that what you should maybe try to do, see, therapy is a commitment. It sounds like it's a long, expensive process. I don't want you to get them to commit to therapy. Get them to commit to a 15-minute phone call with Asani or one of their brothers over here to assess the situation and see if there's a fit. Because there's something that happens. There's a magic that Asani brings to things. I've been trying to discover it. And once I find that magic, I'm going to be complete as a human being. But there's a magic that he has about determining these situations and being able to reach and touch the heart of a man when he's actually in contact with that person. So I don't want you to sell him on the concept of having therapy. Sell him on the concept of, look, I just want you to call this guy and talk to him for 15 minutes. If you say no, then it's no. But at the end of the day, I've seen more transformation out of those 15-minute phone calls where the spouse is saying, hey, there's no way he won't do it. No, not a possibility. And I've watched us only take those 15-minute phone calls, and there's something that's said. There's some kind of moment that's touched in that person that creates connections. Like, okay. And a lot of times men have a problem following other men that they don't have respect for. And so when you just say counseling, they're like, shrink. But when you actually connect with someone that you actually have respect for, then you're like, okay, I feel this. Like, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
All right, let's get in one more question, you guys. Cali Power Couple says, as the one-time unfaithful as well as former Navy SEAL, my attitude is either do it or not. Now that I've committed a serious sin, I've done a complete about face. But my queen is still marching in the past direction. I know my patience is a virtue, and my God says to love her as he loves the church. How can one move forward when the mindset is going in the opposite direction? Callie, you gave us a book today. What do you constitute checking out another person or looking at someone? As the former unfaithful, I get that from my queen. Mind you, I don't look to look. I watch because of PTSD. And once I look, I turn my head instantly once I see it's another woman. Also, my phone charges on her side as well, Jeff. Let me say this to you, Mr. Cali Power Couple. I know that you are in here frequently, like almost every day. And I know that you and your queen are doing the work. She's in here too, calling you her king. And you guys have done work. But there's still an issue with trust. Because if she's still getting upset about you just checking your surroundings or still thinking about the past, that means that there's still more work to be done. And I don't know if you're seeing one of the practitioners here. I don't know if you're seeing someone else, but it sounds like you guys need to do more work. You need to go deeper. And you guys got to, there's still something there that hasn't been addressed, that hasn't been dealt with. I will say, as a husband who grew up in a questionable area, his head is always on swivel. He's always looking around, checking his surroundings. And I understand how it could be completely innocent. But if there's still something going on where there's still a lack of trust, then it doesn't matter if you quickly turn your head or not. It doesn't matter if it's another woman. It could be anything that will make her think that you're still up to no good. So my recommendation would be definitely to reach out, get some more support, get some more help, because sometimes you reach the end of you and you need someone else to step in and help you guys out.
Brother, come play with us. I need a guy like you. I need a guy like you. I really do. But I need you to level up your game and get everything right so you can come play with us. So I'm telling you, you need to feel that last lead of Foundry experience. You need to feel that when you go on and take it, go on and give a call. We'll work something out. I need you. Let's go. Because if you already have that mindset, that military mindset, and you played at a higher level than I could ever play, I'm telling you, you have what it takes. It's just a matter of delivering it in a way that, because sometimes the military allows us to go cold, especially when you're playing an operator position like you were playing. I mean, as an operator, you learn to go cold, you learn to compartmentalize. And I know you've done the 180, but sometimes that emotion is not communicated the same way it needs to be. So allow us to help you with that. And me coming from a background that's similar, I'm not going to say it's as extreme as yours, will definitely be able to, I can show you how to switch that mindset, because I had to do that too. When I came out, I was cold and hard to communicate with. And I had to learn how to show care, love, and concern again in a way that my wife was receptive to it. It wasn't that I was enough that I was thinking it in my head or that I had it in my heart. I had to learn how to communicate in a way that she would receive it. And I need a guy like you. I'm not kidding. I need a guy like you on my team. So please, reach out.
All right. A says, good morning. Please give us pointers on how to handle triggers. I'm still getting triggered. D-Day is almost a year ago. Hey, listen, there is a master class that Hassani and Danielle do called Mastering Triggers. You need to get into that master class. We talk about triggers all the time. There's also videos here on in our YouTube channel that talk about triggers all the time, but we talk about different procedures you can do, catch and release. We've talked about how you have to be in control of your triggers and how you are responsible for your triggers if your partner is showing up the right way and doing the work. But I definitely recommend getting into that mastering, how to master your triggers, masterclass. YouTube user says, good morning. Discovered on my own that husband was cheating before we were married and continued cheating from day one of our marriage. He confessed to her that he was married 2 years later, then restarted the affair years later. We're in counseling, but I keep thinking of just walking away. The affair has been over for 10 years.
Over for 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. What to do? Need serious advice. Roland, what do you have for YouTube user?
Hey, listen, the bottom line is we have to reach out. We have to get some help. And while the confession has come about, there has to be a determination as to what he wants out of the marriage, what you all want to do. Yes, there is life after betrayal. Yes, there is life after the detriment of what has been done. But you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to give up time, money, and effort. You have to be willing to show up in a different way. And a lot of times our verbiage, we consider buying things or purchasing things. We have to start making investments into our marriage. An investment is not a purchase. An investment is not something you're going to buy. An investment is something that you're pouring back into your marriage, pouring back into yourself. And a lot of times we fail because we don't want to make the investment. We'll spend money on clothes, we'll spend money on jerseys and tennis shoes and dresses and stuff like that, but we won't take the time to invest in the very thing that we need. Your partner is your lifeline, right? While you're here on earth. And when we understand and go back to our vows and our commitments to one another, for better or for worse, what does worse look like? You may be experiencing a worse situation, but the other side of that is it can get better. So you have to be willing to put in the time, you have to be willing to do the work, and you have to be willing to come together to get on one accord.
Listen, I just, last question, and I'm totally going to pass this to my brothers because I believe this is from a man. He says, how does a man find his purpose in life? And so, hey, what do y'all have for the daily dose? What dose do you have for him today on how to find his purpose in life?
Okay, so a lot of us have a misperception of finding your purpose. We think God put us on this planet in some kind of torturous way to actually go and look for this thing that he set out there for us to do that we have to discover. Your purpose is already innate in you. Somewhere along the line, you stop listening to it. What I want to tell you is purpose is driven by design. There is already a passion that was innate in you when you were 5 years old, when you were 7 years old. And the problem is we heard no's all our lives. The average toddler hears no 400 times a day. Now, I want you to do this. I really want you to listen here. I want you to take 400 times from the time you were 4 years old. Let's just do it for your whole life. Multiply that by 365, and then multiply that by the years of your life. That's how many no's were given to you. And at first, those no's were simple. Those no's were, don't touch the stove. Oh, your shoelaces are untied. No, don't run with your shoelaces untied. And those were out of care, love, and concern. But what our parents didn't mean to do to us, but it happened to them, so they're just following their own training, is they started saying no when it was inconvenient for them to tell you what this means. Hey, Mom, what is that? Mom, what does this mean? What is this? What is that? Mom, can I do this? Mom, can I do that? And a lot of times it was inconvenient for them. Not impossible, but inconvenient for them. And so they told you no. No, stop asking questions. Why you ask so many questions? No, I don't know the answer to that. As opposed to encouraging your investigation. In that, you've learned to be a living no to yourself. And so your purpose that you had as a child, you might have been wanting to be an astronaut or firefighter, but there's a meaning behind all that. Deeper than the firefighter. Maybe you're not the firefighter, but you're saying, I want to be a hero. I want to save people. I want to rescue people. When you want to be an astronaut, I want to be an explorer. I want to explore new things and new horizons. That's what you're really saying when you pick that thing you wanted to do. So we have to look at the meaning behind that. We have to look at the meaning behind that of what we said we wanted to do, of what that is. So my purpose in life is to help men find themselves and become the best version of themselves. That's my purpose in life. Now, what I do, all of the work things that I do, support that machine. That gives me the time and the freedom to be able to chase my purpose in life. So how do you find your purpose in life? Start dreaming again. Start dreaming big again. remove the no's and find out what, even go back to the thing you want to do as a child and figure out what does that mean. I wanted to be a soldier. That meant I wanted to be a protector and defender. Right? And there's a lot of ways to do defense. You could work with abuse cases. You could work with impoverished people and be a defender. You could be a lawyer and be a defender. You can do all kinds of things and become a defender. There's a moral behind, I want to be a hero. That means I want to help people achieve different things that they could never achieve. And I want to be the catalyst for that. So figure out what that thing you wanted to do as a child was. And now that's your purpose. Now, how you get there, we can help with that. That's what Foundry is all about.
Yeah, you will find your purpose when you go after the thing you love. You will find your purpose when you go after the thing you love. That's all I got for you. That's all I got.
All I have for you is your passion will lead to your purpose, which will lead you to profit. Passion, purpose, profit. All right. So listen, you guys, we went over today. It goes by so fast every single week, right? But thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. We hope you got something out of this. Make sure that you tune in next week to watch the Couples Academy show Monday through Thursday. I'm SOS Tuesday nights before I do Wednesday nights. Get the app, download it so you stay in tune with everything that we're doing. And also, you know, every Friday is Ask the Expert. So we appreciate you guys being here, your love, support, and have an awesome weekend, right? All right. Take care, you guys. Bye.